Hello, welcome back to my kitchen. It's Tasty Tuesday, the day of the week that we travel around the world with our taste buds. And today we're making a wonderful seafood stew called Cioppino. Most people think Cioppino is Italian. It is, but actually it was invented by an Italian-American in San Francisco. He was a fisherman, and he invented this wonderful seafood stew to use leftover ingredients, leftover seafood specifically. So today I have this cookbook that is, I just looked at when it was published. It was published in 1983. That was the year after I got married. So it's 37 years old. And this has been such a Bible for me. Long before I started traveling around the world, I was cooking around the world with this wonderful cookbook. It's called the Bon Appetit Dinner Party Cookbook, and I think I have made every single recipe in this cookbook, including the Cioppino, which I've made so many times I can't even tell you. So I'm going to share that with you today. Wonderful San Francisco Italian-American Cioppino. So let's get started. So I have my Dutch oven, and I have about a quarter cup of olive oil in the bottom of this. And we are going to add, I have chopped up 2 yellow onions and 2 red bell peppers. You can use green bell peppers. I'm not a big fan of green peppers, so I am using red, but you can use green if you'd like. We're going to put this in the bottom of the pan. That is a lot of onions. Wow. And we are going to add, I've chopped up, I think about 5 or 6 celery stalks. That's going in. And I have 3/4 cup of chopped Italian parsley. And finally, we have 6 large garlic cloves that I've already chopped. Now this mixture is going onto the heat until all the vegetables get limp, and then we'll move on to the next step. So I'll do that first, and I'll be right back. So our vegetables have been simmering here on my stovetop on about medium-high heat. It's been about 15 minutes, and they're looking nice and limp, still very colorful. You can see it in here. Can you see it? And now we're going to continue with the dish. I need to point out that it's really important that you start this dish the day before you want to eat it. It needs to sit in the refrigerator overnight, or at least 8 hours. So I suppose you could do it in the morning for a dinner. But this is for tomorrow. My book club is coming, and I'm serving them Cioppino and fresh sourdough bread and a salad, and that'll be really a lovely fall meal to share with my friends. So let's continue. The next thing, after your vegetables have spent some time on the stovetop, we're going to add the more wet ingredients. So the first thing is vegetable juice. So I'm using V8 juice. You could just use tomato juice, but I really would recommend V8 or something like it because it has so many other wonderful flavors. We need 46 ounces of V8 juice. That's a lot. In it goes. Woohoo! Nice. All right, now we're going to do some wine here. So we're going to start with some white wine. We need 1.5 cups of dry white wine. This is a Chardonnay, actually a Washington wine from Chateau Saint Michel. You can use an inexpensive cheap wine, but this is the one I grabbed off my wine rack. Ooh, that smells really good. And we're also going to add 1.5 cups of red wine. I had a Malbec on my wine rack, and that's what we're using. 1.5 cups red wine. See why you need a big pot? This will serve anywhere from 8 to 12 people. I'm having 8 guests, plus my husband makes 9. So we'll probably end up having a little bit of leftovers too, which is always a good thing. After you add the wine, This is store-bought clam juice. This is Bumblebee. You can use whatever brand you want. It's 8 ounces. In that goes, you know what? I'm gonna shake that up a little bit first. Make sure we get all the goodies off the bottom. 8 ounces of clam juice. And next is 6 ounces of canned tomato paste. That is here. And of course, if you're not in the US, tomato paste probably comes in a pouch. Not a lot of cans in other countries around the world, I found. Soups usually come in a pouch. Not that much use of aluminum or tin. Something you learn when you travel. And next we have 4 large tomatoes that I've just chopped up. I didn't seed these. Having seeds in something is not a problem for me, but if you don't like them, you can take the time to seed them. I just chopped them up into nice, pretty chunks. Okay, let me see, where are we? Okay, so this is salad dressing mix, like you just buy the package. This is a 0.6 ounce package. Normally you would be adding olive oil and vinegar to make a salad dressing. We're not doing that. We're pouring the whole thing in here dry. And then we have, let's see, 4 bay leaves. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 2 teaspoons of sugar and about a 1/4 teaspoon of red chili pepper. Okay, that's it. We're gonna put in a little bit of pepper, fresh ground black pepper. And I'm gonna put in just a little bit more salt, and we'll test this along the way to see if we need to add more salt. This little zesty Italian thing has salt in it, so you wanna be careful. You don't wanna over salt. Okay, now this beautiful concoction is going back onto the heat. I'm gonna bring it up nearly to a boil, reduce the heat to simmer. It's gonna simmer for 30 minutes and then it goes in the refrigerator. We don't add any of the seafood until tomorrow. So I'm gonna take care of that. I'll see you tomorrow and we'll finish the dish. See you later. Hey everybody, welcome back to my kitchen. Our Cioppino spent the night in my refrigerator, melding those wonderful flavors together, and it smells really great. And that's one of the things about this dish that's really nice, especially for entertaining. You can get all the messy stuff done the day before. And then at the last minute, you add the seafood, which is what we're gonna do now. And I'm gonna bring it up to heat, and then I'll show you what it looks like in the bowl. So for this pot of Cioppino, which should serve about 8 to 12 people, I have 12 ounces of rockfish. You could use any white fish. Rockfish is great for this though, because it's not great for a lot of things, but it's really good for a stew. This is 12 ounces, and you could use cod, you could use halibut, whatever you want, just a whitefish. I've never seen it done with salmon. I suppose you could, but I've never used salmon in this dish. Okay, that's kind of messy. I have 2 pounds of shrimp. I bought shrimp that the tails were already off. Sometimes if you have this dish in a restaurant, it will have the tails on it, but I don't want my friends to have to stick their hands in there and, you know, pull those tails off. So I bought already detailed, is that a word? Shrimp, and they look really beautiful. Shrimp take just the tiniest bit of time to cook, so that's another reason that you put the seafood in at the last minute. You don't want your shrimp to be tough. Speaking of that, you can freeze this if you have leftovers, and I'm sure I'm going to. But you want to bring it to the heat really slow so that your seafood doesn't get tough. And that's how I found to reuse it once it's been in the freezer. Since I was getting shrimp that had the tails off, I also chose to buy clams that were out of the shell. Normally, you would have clams in the shell directly into the stew. but I'm doing it this way, and it's the first time I've done it this way. This is about 2 pounds of clams, little tiny ones, and they smell really nice and fresh. So that'll be, although I bought them frozen, but they smell really nice. Look at that. This is a heaping bowl of cioppino. Holy cow. We're gonna be eating on this for a few days. All right, there is our beautiful seafood added to our beautiful stew. I'm gonna put this on low heat, give it a slow rise to a boil. Actually, probably not even a boil. And then it's gonna be time to eat. I've been making bread all morning. You can see my bread over here on the counter. And we're having fresh bread, fresh sourdough bread, cioppino, and a salad tonight for my book club. So I'll come back and show you what the final product looks like. See you later. Hey, our beautiful pot of cioppino is ready, and in the time since I was on the video earlier, book club has been canceled. Look at this pot of cioppino. My husband and I now have to eat. What's a girl to do? Let me show you how we plate it. We have all those shrimp, clams, rockfish, all the goodies, the veg, the broth. It's going to be served with a beautiful fresh sourdough bread, cioppino, created by a fisherman in San Francisco with a touch of Italy. I hope you'll try this recipe. It's one of my favorites. And although you do need to start it the day before, it's really pretty easy. Kind of expensive, but easy. Thanks for joining me in my kitchen. I'll see you next week.